How awesome is that, huh? Is that cool?
This is crazy.
Oh! Yeah, let's put it back!
Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome to the vlog. I hope the start of your day is absolutely amazing. As you can see, I am in the Christmas spirit, so I picked up a couple Christmassy shirts. I hope that you guys are getting excited about the holiday as much as I am. You know what? I've got to head over to the shop. And I am at the shop and we're gonna get this day starting. I hope that you guys have an absolutely incredible day. Today I am actually gonna start it talking about box training. I get a lot of comments when people say, Brian, why do you feed your snakes in the tubs? You should take them out and put them in a box. So I thought it was a topic that I would bring up with you guys and explain my thinking about it. I think it'll help some of you maybe at least understand this way. We also have to talk about getting our snakes in hibernation because it's about that time of year and I will take you through that process and let you know what's going on. Also, I'm gonna share with you a clip that didn't quite make it into the vlog the other day that I thought was just such a good clip that I wanted to go ahead and show it to you, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But let's go ahead and set our problem aside and have a great day. Do me a favor, guys, comment down below. You guys have slowed the comments down a little bit, and I love hearing what you guys have to say, so tell me how your day is starting, and while you're down there, let's smash that like button. Let's get this video, let's say, over 5,000 likes. If you do that for me, I'll do something really special in the next couple of vlogs. So let's go ahead and get this day started. And you might ask yourself, Brian, what are you talking about, a feed box? So basically, much like I talked with RJ and Bowser and all these other animals, it's about training them and doing things over and over and over again. And a lot of people think that if you were to open a cage and every time you open you handed it a meal, that snake is going to again be trained to, the cage opens, it's time to feed. So what they do is they use a box like this right here. So essentially what they're going to do is they're just going to take your snake out, you're going to put it in the feeding box, and then you're gonna take your rodent and you're gonna offer the food to the rodent in the feeding box. Now the whole principle behind that is of course that number one, when you open that cage, the snake isn't thinking it's food time. Number two, once it gets into this box, it's thinking, oh my gosh, I'm in this box again, it's time to feed, and they get ramped up to feed. Now I totally think that this is a plausible thing you can do, and if you have a pet snake, certainly you can give it a try. It could be really good. When we have thousands of snakes, not so practical, but there's more to it than that. Certainly there is no doubt that some snakes can be target trained, and that's kind of a viable option for a feed box, because again, what you're doing is you're basically continuing to train them that it's time to feed when they're in the feed box and not time to feed when they're in their cage. So if you want to give it a go, I say go for it. But the truth is that I don't think snakes are quite as reactive as say a lot of lizards or crocodilians. Snakes kind of are wired to eat and eat all the time. They're an opportunistic feeder. Unlike a lot of reptiles that are go foraging or go looking for food, most snakes just kind of sit there and wait for an ambush. So in the wild, when a prey comes by a snake, even if it just ate a couple hours before, it's gonna eat again and again and again because it doesn't know when its next meal is. So I think that the feed box probably is a little flawed in that sense. The truth is that even if you take that snake out every time and put it in the feed box in order to feed it, there's a chance it could kind of get going, and I don't think it's a bad thing to do whatsoever, but the truth is it's probably still thinking that every time you open that cage it might get fed. So regardless, I just wanted to cover that topic because it's a topic that a lot of people bring up, and again, I think it's something that if you have one or two snakes and you want to do it, God, go for it. It's not a problem whatsoever. Is it as effective as you think it is? Probably not, but regardless, it's still a great option to train your snake to know when it's going to get fed. So as promised, remember the other day when me and Lori actually took out Daisy and Lucy and Lori almost got choked, and then of course we had RJ, which by the way, a bunch of you guys have been asking about RJ. See how he loves to sit up on this ledge now? He does need his out of the water time, and I know I've been saying I'm going to get him a basking land. I promise this week I'm going to do that because I was supposed to be out in LA and that trip got pushed a little bit, so this gives me some like extra time. It's almost like I found a few days because I was supposed to be traveling. So I am going to, number one, get glass up here. I am going to put a basking light up there, and I'm going to do a whole bunch of other stuff, but I am going to travel in a few days just for one day out to Cleveland and go visit a really cool collection, so I'm going to take you guys on that. Regardless, the point is that I took Bowser out and Lori actually held Bowser for the very first time, and I wasn't able to use that clip because the video was already like 17 minutes long, and I thought if I put this in, that's another 3 or 4 minutes. So let's go ahead and take a look at that clip right now. So this is how you gotta hold them, Lori, just like this. You just set them on your hip like this, you hold them like this, and you're all good to go. Yeah? You gotta admit, that would be a really cool picture, right? Ah! Look at that mouth.
So angry.
Okay, you ready? Okay, get your hand behind his head like this.
Oh my god. It can't get me.
It can't get you as long as you're like that. Now pick him up and put him on your hip. See? There you go. How awesome is that, huh? Is that cool?
This is crazy.
You ready for that Instagram pic?
Oh.
Don't worry, he's not doing anything. All right, guys, that is going on Instagram again, at SnakeBitesTV and at Lori Barczyk. All right, you ready to get him back, or you want to just hang on to it for a while?
No, I think he's peeing on me.
Well, that's okay, because we're going out to that glass blowing place. You'll be perfect.
Oh. Yeah, let's put him back.
Okay, set him up there. Set him up there. You're okay, Bowser. Back you go. So, Lori, what'd you think?
That's a big turtle.
That's a big turtle. Well, that was pretty awesome. Lori did really, really good. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that clip right there. I certainly was proud of Lori. But let's get back to hibernation. You may ask yourself, Brian, why do you hibernate snakes? And I've covered this before in the vlog. Basically, what happens is that these snakes right here are at the end of their cycle, which basically just means that we've bred them, they produce eggs, they fatten back up, and now they need to hibernate. Now, there's a couple reasons for this, and I've talked about it in the past. One is the fact that the dormant period can spark them into basically a breeding type situation. So the way nature works is that in the spring with these particular snakes, like Kluber snakes, like this scaleless Texas rat snake, or this scaleless Texas rat snake right here, which is absolutely insanely gorgeous, they basically know that it is time to breed when it warms up. Now, some snakes breed in the fall, some snakes will breed during the winter, but in this particular case, these guys go down into hibernation and breed in the spring. So what we have to do is cool them down for about 2.5 to 3 months. And again, the other thing is it gets them out of our hair, and it kind of just gives us a chance to take a break from all the work and the expense of keeping these animals for that period of time. So it's really a win-win. Number one, the animals go down and it's good for them, and it's good for us because it gives us a little bit of a break, and it gives us an opportunity to spend time with the other animals that we're raising up, and we start breeding pythons and all that other good stuff. And it really does help in the success of breeding during the spring because it causes the females to go into follicular growth, and then there's something that's called spermatogenesis, where males actually produce viable sperm. When a snake or a lizard gets too warm, the sperm can actually get killed in males, so you want them to be a little cooler during the breeding season. With that being said, snakes go into a dormant period where basically their immune system almost all but shuts down. All of their things, they can't digest right, they can't do all things because they go from a typical 80 or 82 degrees with a 90-degree hotspot down to about 50 or 55 degrees. So, of course, all their systems shut down. So what do we have to do? We have to revamp all of these cages. So these guys here have to get completely clean, tore down, because we don't want any pathogens in those cages. We want them to be clean as possible so that when they hibernate, they don't get sick. So with that said, we have to clean all of these cages. And when I say we, I mean Lori and the crew. Believe it or not, leopard geckos also go into a dormant period. Although these guys are really from Pakistan area and it really never gets that cold, it does cool down enough, especially in the desert areas, where we can simulate that cool down. Again, doing the same things. We actually kind of get them into a dormant period where it sparks that follicular growth, as well as the fact that we get the males down so they have spermatogenesis. And again, it gets them out of our hair for a couple months so we can start work on raising babies and do all the other million projects that we can't do because we're so busy taking care of all these animals. So in a way, it's almost like a vacation from animals, right? I mean, these guys go down for about 2 months, the Klubers go down for almost 3 months, so that gives us a big break with a lot of our collection, and then we can really focus on the other things that we've been wanting to do for a long time, whether that's raising snakes, just kind of cleaning the place up a little bit, or for me, working on next door to get this kind of mini zoo or birthday place together, whatever it might be. But we have to do the exact same thing with the geckos. We tear down their cages and make them uber clean. Now, I've mentioned before that you have to clean these animals out, both the colubrids and the leopard geckos, or anything anything that's going into some sort of dormancy for that matter, because again, like I mentioned, their digestive system basically shuts down. So if there's anything in their digestive tract, it's going to rot and potentially kill them, right? Because they can't digest it and pass it. So we want to make sure we take these animals off food for anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. With colubrids, we usually go about 3 weeks without food. Leopard geckos, 2 or 3 weeks is completely fine because their metabolism is a little bit quicker. And then basically the next step after you've cleaned them out, you've revamped them into a really clean environment, is basically just to stage them to the next level. So we go from like 82 degrees down to about 70 degrees, and then ultimately we put them down at 50, 52 degrees. With the leopard geckos, we never take them below about 60 or 65 degrees because a little bit cooler than that could actually be a bad thing. But that's basically it. It is a big process, but once you do it, it's pretty simple. And let me address a couple things really quick for those people that have these questions that I'm sure you have. Number one, if you have a pet snake, you do not need to hibernate. You don't need to cool down. It's completely fine. Now, a lot of snakes will kind of slow down in feeding and go off of food during the winter, but it's completely fine. You don't have to hibernate them. And then if you have a boa or a python, like Sunshine the Burmese python or a ball python or a boa or whatever the case may be, they don't actually hibernate. When you breed them, you do cool them down a little bit. You take them from 82 or 84 or whatever that ambient temperature during the summer months, and you drop them down into the high 70s, 76, 77, 78 degrees. But you just cool them down a little bit. It's not really a dormant period. And like I've mentioned in the past, you actually breed the pythons during the cool down as opposed to the colubrids that breed when they come up out of hibernation. But again, if you have a pet animal, you don't need to do any of it. Just keep it going. And again, if it slows down food a little bit in the winter, don't stress out. As long as it looks healthy, it'll be completely fine, and it'll start feeding a lot when it starts to warm up in the spring. So with that said, we have our work cut out for us this week, getting all these animals ready for hibernation, the colubrids, the leopard geckos, and we're also getting all the ball pythons in breeding groups so we can start breeding the pythons, and then it is going to be crazy because I love breeding snakes and I love hatching babies, and I cannot wait to share with you guys the next breeding season. And there's a lot of exciting stuff during the breeding season with copulations and all kinds of good stuff. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I can't wait to get going. But I hope you guys enjoyed kind of that explanation of what's happening with hibernation and all those other things. And I hope you like this shirt too. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to change into this shirt to end the vlog. I hope that you guys have an absolutely amazing day. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys mean the world to me, and I love you so much. Can you do me a couple favors before we get out of here? Can you smash that like button, as well as turn those post notifications on so you know when I upload a video, which is every day, 7 days a week at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Remember to be kind to somebody today, and I promise I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.